JLP government constant go-to is to always blame the People's National Party for their level of incompetence. Right? It's always their go-to to blame somebody. They never take responsibility any at all. What are they when the rice can't swell? Blessings, ABR family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's a girl and Isabel Rose. And in this one, Philip Paulwell demands full transparency after 7% hike in electricity bills. But instead of coming with the information, Darrell Vaz engages him in a Twitter war, so to speak. I mean, I wonder if I saw good governance work. You don't willing to give the information straight up, but you engage back and forth, on social media. ABR family and viewers, let us dive deeper into this. We have a whole heap of thing for read out. I'll be Twitter this, Twitter that. And we've seen Philip Paulwell setting the record straight and even calling again for the second or the third time, I believe, a one-on-one debate with Darrell Vaz. But Darrell Vaz are run up and down as usual. Stay tuned for the details at hand. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel.
In its bill update statement released to customers on December 15, the JPSCO did not indicate the number of days during which it utilized more expensive diesel fuel. This demands immediate substantiation. The JPSCO must provide the specific dates for the alleged decommissioning of regular LNG and renewable plants and clearly state which billing cycles used estimated reading. The actions of JPSCO and supported by the OUR have highlighted an urgent need for the complete disaggregation of its bills to allow customers greater transparency and understanding how they are being billed and what they are paying for.
So now, because Paulwell demanded to know between what and what time frame, they said the LNG basically raised up for them to, be putting on 7% more on the people's electricity bill. Any logical, well-thinking Jamaican would want to know the same. Right? So instead of a Darrell Vaz coming out with the information, even though we know that JPS is a independent, company, so to speak, but then he is the energy minister, and then the government has almost 20% of shares in JPS. So Darrell Vaz ran to Twitter, and me have to wonder what kind of governance this. If you can answer to the people in the country where demand answers, the people want to set elect and put in the position. Instead, he responded to Philip Paulwell and he said, "This is deceptive and disingenuous from Paulwell. Here's why. Paulwell is an energy consultant. The current license was negotiated and signed by the PNP and renewed by Paulwell as Energy Minister in January 2016. The terms facilitating this increase are a direct result of the 2016 license negotiated and implemented by Paulwell and the PNP. So Paulwell hit back at him defending the name of the People's National Party. And I here also have some information from the 2017 to 2018 fiscal policy paper. But before we get into that, here's what Paulwell had to say to him. At Darrell Vaz MP, JLP has been in power a decade with every opportunity to renegotiate any aspect of the license. But let's look at the facts. 1. The fuel clause has been in all licenses, including the one in 2008 signed by JLP. 2. Under the very license you are blaming, the price fell to US 23 cents per kilowatt when PNP was in power. 10 years later, Under JLP, the price is now US 40 cents per kilowatt. It doubled. Why? Consistent JLP taxation and the dismal failure to continue to deploy new renewable energy sources, sitting around tweeting and taking no action. Now, before we continue with the rest of Paulwell's response to Darrell Vaz, let us look at the fiscal policy paper of 2017 to 2018 under this same government. They stated that revenue measures for financial year 2017 to 2018. The House is being reminded of policy commitment to shift the burden of taxation from a system of direct taxes to a simplified system of indirect taxation. This will involve measures relating to the main indirect tax types, including general consumption tax and special consumption tax. It will also involve balancing considerations regarding tax rate increases versus a progressive broadening of tax base by reducing exemptions. Right? Under the special consumption taxes, the House is asked to recall that based on volatility of oil prices, it was prudent to provide for an additional increase last fiscal year to preserve the integrity of the revenues. You hear that? The current increase is proposed in recognition of the need to protect the environment from increased carbon emissions. The increase ranges from 43 cents up to $7.36 as detailed in the table below. Look under FIDEM government, the LNG, the liquefied natural gas where JPS use, is at 43 cents. Under the People's National Party, it was 23 cents. It basically doubled under this administration. So what Darrell Vaz talk about? Paulwell continued to say, the fact is this, government has wasted a lot of time in updating the legal framework for electricity. The PNP passed Electricity Act in 2015 and mandated a full review in 2020. The government has failed to complete this work, so here we are a decade later, all talk, no action. Please note we left draft regulations in 2016 to properly regulate the liquefied natural gas, that's the LNG sector. Darrell Vaz is still sitting on this. Instead of getting to work, he's busy shouting about bad mind. Is it that he doesn't realize this would help to lower electricity prices if LNG was properly regulated? Enough of the PR. Get to the productivity part. Following that, we see Vaz run out and stated that, Paulwell is an attorney at law. And if him remember that, the court had basically quashed a 2012 ruling that the energy minister, Philip Paulwell, at the time was in error of the law when he granted the license. Right? Civil group Cure had challenged the JPS license, claiming it was a breach of the Electric Lighting Act. And in basically I say, Paulwell had do too much grandstanding and all of that. So Paulwell called him out on a debate to which him claim to say them have sectoral debate for the parliament and them have other debates, right, to come. And so him can talk up when it's time for them to have those discussions. But he doesn't want to go on a one-on-one with Philip Paulwell. This is not the first time Paulwell called him up on a one-on-one debate. And him basically refusing. So him basically a beat round, not wanting to debate. Right? And then finally, Paulwell stated, why is Darrell Vaz MP afraid to do a one-on-one public debate with me on the high price of electricity? Is he afraid that it will be revealed that he doesn't have a clue about the various policy options and that we don't have to wait until 2027 for a new JPS license? ABR family and viewers, well-thinking Jamaicans, also bear in mind that negotiations for a new license, as they want, should have been taking place since 2023. We're now in the ending of 2025, approaching 2026. The government has loaned JPS $150 million US dollars, and JPS license will expire in 2027. And so, what says you all? Would you want to see a one-on-one debate between Darrell Vaz and Philip Paulwell? Drop that in the comment section, whether it be yes if you agree or no if you disagree. Let us see. Because this JLP government constant go-to is to always blame the People's National Party for their level of incompetence. Right? It's always their go-to to blame somebody. They never take responsibility any at all. Right? There are still more clarity needed as it relates to them taking taxpayers' money to lend a private company as Jamaica Public Service. And instead of coming direct to us with answers, all they do is go on Twitter and the Twitter war like, yeah, I wonder if this man is a woman. Yeah, I wonder if this man is a sissy. Right? We don't know, we're not sure. Are them people are really talk about we get third term? Are them people are really talk about we elect? Government badness? Bojo run out and talk about him things that we miss no time barrel. And they blamed him as a liar. They blame him as a sort of convict. It's just that some of them never get caught for the crimes them where them do. That's why you still have people that support people like them here. What are they when the rice can't swell?
Already, the JPSCO has given a hint about increased prices. And last year, you and I were at one about that when we thought that the slowness in restoration of the LNG generated electricity caused a major problem because people were paying for electricity generated by heavy fuel oil and diesel. And by the way, the Minister of Finance would be aware that the taxation on heavy fuel oil and diesel is so much greater than the taxation on LNG. And that is a matter that has to be resolved. But I believe that there has to be greater accountability on the part of the JPSCO. I can't see why you weren't able to say in your brief the date and time when LNG was restored. And that is curious because that is important. It's a cheaper generating cost to the JPS, larger because, among other things, the taxation is less. And we have to think for the future because more and more large customers are taking themselves off the grid to go straight to the LNG supplier, paying less taxes than we, those of us who are on the grid, have to pay for fuel sources that are used to generate electricity, such as heavy fuel oil and diesel. The taxation on those two fuels quadruple the taxation on LNG. And more you're going to find customers are going to be migrating to their own generated electricity. And more those who remain on the grid will be faced with higher and higher prices.
Drop your comments, ABR family and viewers. Well thinking Jamaicans, when you wanna say. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. On the road to 50K, help me to get there, please and thanks. Hype up the videos them, please. Please hype up the videos them. Share out the videos them. Stay tuned for more videos, stay tuned for more updates. Big up on yourself. Happy Wednesday.